Happy Labor Day, radio fans. Big Al here, continuing our series on the AM and FM radio stations from across the country. And today's focus is on Minneapolis-St. Paul, Minnesota, the Twin Cities. Rated by Arbitron as the 15th largest radio market in the United States. And I've included some out-of-market stations from St. Cloud and Willmar and nearby Cambridge, Minnesota. So this is going to be a pretty long list. I got about 10 pages worth of info here. So let's dive right into it. But first, like what I'm doing, go ahead and subscribe to my channel. Ring the bell and get notified every time I go live. Alright, let's go. Starting on the AM side of the dial, you have 540 WXYG Sauk Rapids. They're known as Album Rock 540 The GOAT. This is an album-oriented rock station owned by Tri-County Broadcasting. Their programming is repeated on WHMH 101.7 FM HD2 St. Cloud, and they operate 2 FM translator stations in Sauk Rapids, 107.3 W297BO, and 94.3 W232CA. 630 is WREY, St. Paul, Minneapolis. This station is known as 94.9 El Rey, Es La Ley, translated in English to It's the Law. This station broadcasts a regional Mexican format which is owned by Borgen Broadcasting. They operate a pair of FM translator stations. The first is W235CT 94.9 FM St. Paul, which is the source of their branding. And the second translator is K288GR on 105.5 FM in Bayport, Wisconsin. 660 is WBHR Sauk Rapids. This airs to the St. Cloud area. They're known as 660 The Bear, Minnesota sports stations. This is the St. Cloud affiliate of ESPN Radio and the only Minnesota affiliate of the Chicago Cubs radio network. So you'll hear Cubs games on 660 The Bear, which is owned by Tri-County Broadcasting. They operate FM translator station W239CU 95.7 FM Sauk Rapids. 690 is KFXN Minneapolis-St. Paul. KFXN AM 690. Hmong Radio News, Talk and Entertainment. This is a world ethnic broadcasting. This is a world ethnic format which is owned by Asian American Broadcasting LLC. Of course, KFXN was previously known as the Score 690, which was a daytime only sports station owned by iHeartMedia, then known at the time as Clear Channel Communications, which featured a sports talk format which ran on this station from 1998 to 2011. 740 is WDGY Hudson, Wisconsin. 74 WDGY, the original rock and roll station. They play a mix of oldies and classic hits, and they are owned by WRPX Incorporated. Their programming is repeated on KTMY 107.1 HD2 in Coon Rapids, and they operate a pair of FM translator stations. W279DD 103.7 FM Hudson, Wisconsin, and W221BS 92.1 FM St. Paul. 770 is KUOM Minneapolis-St. Paul, Radio K, Real College Radio. This is a student-run college radio station from the University of Minnesota, whose main campus, by the way, is in Minneapolis. Their programming is repeated on KUOM FM 106.5 in St. Louis Park, and they operate 2 FM translators. They operate W264BR on 100.7 FM in Falcon Heights, which is a section of St. Paul, where they have a secondary campus. And they also operate K283BG on 104.5 FM in Minneapolis. Both 740 and 770 are daytime-only stations, and both are required by FCC law to sign off the air at sundown. But they have the repeater stations and the translator stations that allows their programming to air 24/7. 800 is WVAL, Sauk Rapids. AM 800 WVAL, Minnesota's country legend. They broadcast a classic country format from Tri-County Broadcasting. They also operate translator station W272EG on 102.3 FM in Sauk Rapids. 830 is WCCO, Minneapolis-St. Paul. News Talk 830 WCCO, The Good Neighbor. During daytime and evening hours, they operate a news talk format with news updates from CBS News. And during overnight hours, they air a sports format, and they are listed as the Twin Cities affiliate of CBS Sports Radio. News Talk 830 WCCO is the radio flagship station of both the Minnesota Twins and the Minnesota Timberwolves. They are owned by Entercom Communications, and their programming is repeated on KNMB 102.9 FM HD2 in Minneapolis. Now, how did WCCO get its call sign? Well, they were previously co-owned with WCCO TV Channel 4, which is the CBS owned and operated station in the Twin Cities. I think their first owners was Midwest Communications. Now, WCCO Television is owned and operated by CBS, and WCCO Radio is owned by Entercom. There was also a WCCO FM on 102.9, which is also owned by Entercom. We'll tell you about that station on the FM side of the dial. 900 is KTIS AM, Minneapolis-St. Paul. They're known as Faith 900, Faith Radio, connecting faith to life. This is a Christian talk and teaching station with programming from Northwestern Media. They are owned by the University of Northwestern at St. Paul, and their programming is repeated on KTIS FM 98.5 HD2 Minneapolis, and they operate FM translator stations K214DF 90.7 FM Golden Valley, Minnesota, and at 97.5 W248CU Minneapolis. KTIS AM was founded by the Reverend Billy Graham back in 1949, at which time he was also the president of the University of Northwestern at St. Paul. 950 is KTNF, St. Louis Park. AM 950 KTNF, the progressive voice of Minnesota. Their slogan is, "What's left is the truth." KTNF broadcasts a progressive talk format with programming from Westwood One and Compass Media Networks. They are owned by JR Broadcasting, and notable programs heard on AM 950 KTNF include Stephanie Miller, Tom Hartman, Amy Goodman, and Mike Papantonio. 960 is KLTF, Little Falls, Minnesota. AM 960 KLTF. They broadcast a news talk format with programming from ABC Radio, Salem Communications, and Fox Sports Radio. They are owned by the Little Falls Radio Corporation. 980 is KKMS, Richfield. AM 980 The Mission, the Twin Cities Christian Voice. This is a Christian talk station with programming from Salem Radio News. In fact, they have news updates from Salem Radio News. Allow me to rephrase that. KKMS is owned by Salem Media Group. 1010 is WMIN, Sauk Rapids. They're known as Uptown 1010, Ring-a-Ding Radio. That is their slogan, no lie. They play a mix of adult standards and middle-of-the-road music, or MOR music. They're owned by Tri-County Broadcasting, and their programming repeats on WHMH-FM 101.7 HD4 in St. Cloud, and they operate translator stations W266DT 101.1 FM Sauk Rapids, and W293CS 106.5 FM Hinckley, Minnesota. 1030 is WCTS, Maplewood, Minnesota. WCTS FM 97.9 AM 1030, the Bible station. This is a fundamentalist Christian radio station owned by the Central Baptist Theological Seminary. And their FM translator station is the source of their branding. That's 97.9 FM K250BY, licensed to Plymouth, Minnesota. Sorry, I have to clear my voice there for a sec. AM 1130 is KTLK, Minneapolis-St. Paul. They're known as News Talk AM 1130, the Twin Cities News Talk station. This is a news and conservative talk station with news updates from both Fox News Radio and NBC News Radio, and programming from Premier Radio Networks. This station is owned by iHeartMedia, and their programming is repeated on KFXN FM 100.3 HD2 in Minneapolis. Of course, 1130 was the former home of sports station The Fan, which is now on 100.3 FM. More on that later. 1150 KASM, Albany, Minnesota. 1150 AM KASM, your dependable neighbor. This is a news talk station owned by Starcom LLC. They operate translator station K299BT in Albany on 107.7 FM. 1180 is KYES, Rockville, Maryland. AM 1180 KYES. They are a Catholic radio station with programming from Relevant Radio. They're owned by Gabriel Media, and they operate translator station K228FV on 93.5 FM in St. Joseph. 1220 is KLBB, Stillwater, Minnesota, which right now is airing weather information from the NOAA weather radio station in the Twin Cities, KEC 65, and they do so in order to maintain its license with the Federal Communications Commission. This station did fall silent after previously being known as Club 1220 KLBB, which broadcasted an adult standards format. KLBB's owner is currently Endurance Broadcasting LLC, and this was previously the Minneapolis-St. Paul affiliate of the Green Bay Packers, which me personally I find kind of odd because they do have an NFL team in Minneapolis called the Minnesota Vikings, and this is one of their rivals. Yeah, that was kind of strange. 1260 has a pair of stations. The first is KDUZ Hutchinson, Minnesota, 1260 KDUZ, your information station. This is a news talk station with programming from Citadel Media and Westwood One. They are owned by the Iowa City Broadcasting Company, Incorporated, which is based in Iowa City, Iowa. And they operate translator station K243CQ in Hutchinson on 96.5 FM. The other station is across the border in Wisconsin, part of the St. Croix Valley. And that's WXEE, Amory, Wisconsin. They're known as Inc. 92.7 and 107.3. Hot Rockin'. This is a Zoe Communications Incorporated owned radio station with an active rock format. Programming is simulcast on daytime only station WXNK 940 AM in Shell Lake, Wisconsin. That broadcasts to the Rice Lake area. And both WXCE and WXNK operates a translator station. WXCE's programming is repeated on translator W297CU on 107.3 FM in Emory, Wisconsin. And then WXNK's programming is relayed on W224DN 92.7 FM in Shell Lake. 1240 is WJON St. Cloud, AM 1240 KJON Information Radio. This is a news talker owned by Town Square Media with an FM translator station in St. Cloud on 95.3 W237 EU. 1280 is WWTC Minneapolis-St. Paul, AM 1280 The Patriot. This is a conservative talk station with programming from the Salem Radio Network. They are owned by the Salem Media Group, and they operate FM translator station K298CO on 107.5 FM in Golden Valley, which is a western Minneapolis suburb. 1290 is KBMO, Benson, Minnesota. They're known as Standard Gold. This is a mix of adult standards and middle of the road or MOR music with programming from Westwood One. They're owned by Headwaters Media, LLC. All right. 1300 is WQPM Princeton, the Big Q, the fun-loving oldies station. They broadcast an oldies format owned by Milestone Radio, LLC, and this is the AM simulcast of WLKX-FM 95.9, Forest Lake, Minnesota. Programming is repeated on sister stations KDDG 105.5 FM HD3 in Albany and KLDI 106.1 HD3 in Elk River, Minnesota. 1330 is WLOL, Minneapolis-St. Paul. This is the Twin Cities affiliate of Relevant Radio. They broadcast a Christian radio format, of course with programming from Relevant Radio. They're owned by Starboard Broadcasting. 1340 is KWLM, Willmar, Minnesota. News Talk 1340 AM and 96.3 FM. They operate a news talk format owned by Lakeland Broadcasting Company with an FM translator in Willmar on K242CF at 96.3 FM. And they also operate a second translator station, which is K266CM 101.1 Sunburg, Minnesota. KWLM is an affiliate station of the Minnesota Timberwolves radio network. 1350 is WCMP, Pine City, Minnesota. Highway 1065, broadcasting a classic hits format owned by Q Media Properties, LLC. Their FM translator station is the source of their branding, and that's 106.5 W293DA in Pine City. 1390 is KXSS, Waite Park, Minnesota. 1390 Granite City Sports. This is a sports formatted station from Town Square Media, and they did not list which network KXSS is affiliated with, so I do not have that info. 1400 and 1470 broadcast the same programming. 1400 is KMNV, Minneapolis-St. Paul. 1470 is KMNQ, Brooklyn Park. They're known as La Raza, which is a dual-frequency regional Mexican station from Sala Maria Broadcasting Incorporated. They operate FM translator station K239CJ on 95.7 FM in St. Paul. 1410 is KLFB Litchfield, the original. They broadcast a variety format which is owned by Mid-Minnesota Media LLC and operates FM translator station W240DD at 95.9 FM in Litchfield. 1440 is KYCR Golden Valley, Twin Cities Business Radio. They broadcast a business news and talk format with programming from the Wall Street Business Network. They are owned by the Salem Media Group and was the former Minneapolis-St. Paul affiliate of Radio Disney. 1450 is KNSI St. Cloud. News Talk 1450 KNSI, the Talk of St. Cloud. This is a news talk station from Layton Broadcasting. Programming is repeated on KZPK 98.9 HD2 in Paynesville, and they also operate translator station K257GK St. Cloud at 99.3. 1460 is KDMA AM Montevideo, Minnesota. KDMA 1460 AM. They broadcast a country music format from Iowa City Broadcasting Company. Alright, just a few more stations left on the AM dial. 1500 is KSTP AM, St. Paul, Minneapolis. They're known as Score North. This is the Minneapolis-St. Paul affiliate of ESPN Radio. And they are also the radio flagship station of the Major League Soccer team in the Twin Cities, Minnesota United FC. KSTP is owned by St. Paul-based Hubbard Broadcasting. They also own KSTP FM, KTMY FM, and ABC television station KSTP TV Channel 5. 1530 is KQSP Shakopee, Minnesota, which currently airs a talk radio format owned by Nevada Radio LLC. They currently have a construction permit with the FCC to build an FM translator station at 99.1, and once constructed, the call sign will be known as W256DT. So they're working on the FM translator on 99.1. 1570 is KDIZ Golden Valley. Freedom 1570. Ringing Liberty and Truth. This is a conservative talker from the Salem Media Group. 1590 has a pair of stations. The first is KDJS Willmar, Minnesota, Fox News Radio 1590 and 105.7. Fair and balanced. This is a news talk station owned by Iowa City Broadcasting Company. And they operate FM translator station K289CO 105.7 FM, Willmar. The other station is WIXK, New Richmond, Wisconsin, Hmong Radio WIXK 1590. This is Hmong language programming owned by Hmong Radio Broadcasting LLC. They operate FM translator station W277CW in New Richmond on 103.3. And then rounding out the AM dial is 1600 KPNP, Watertown, Minnesota. They're known as Minority Radio, KPNP 1600 AM, Radio Diverse. This is a world ethnic station owned by Self-Retire Incorporated. And one other note I gotta tell you about before we wrap up the AM dial. KTLK's programming is also repeated on FM translator station K278BP 103.5 FM in Cottage Grove, Minnesota. And with that, we jump to the FM side of the dial. And there are a bunch of non-commercial stations, at least on the traditional non-commercial band. And starting things off is 88.1 Channel 201, where there are two stations on this frequency. The first station is KVSC St. Cloud, Minnesota. KVSC 88.1 FM, your sound alternative. And this station broadcasts in high definition. On the main FM analog signal and on its HD1 subchannel is college/freeform/eclectic. In HD2 is classic alternative rock, which is a simulcast of low power station KVEXLP 97.5 FM in St. Cloud. KVSC is owned by St. Cloud State University and is repeated in the Twin Cities on KMOJ 89.9 HD3, Minneapolis-St. Paul. The other station on 88.1 broadcasts in traditional analog, and that's WAJC, Newport, Minnesota. This is Real Life Radio, which broadcasts a contemporary Christian format owned by Maranatha Assembly of God Church. They operate a translator in North Branch on 91.7 W219DT. 88.5 FM is KBEM FM, Minneapolis-St. Paul. That's 88.5 Channel 203. They're known as Jazz 88, Minnesota's jazz station. Owned by the Minneapolis Public Schools, this station broadcasts a jazz music format. 88.7 Channel 204 is WRFW, River Falls, Wisconsin. They're known as Pure Radio 88.7. This is a news and public radio station with programming from NPR, Wisconsin Public Radio, and American Public Media. This station is owned by the Board of Regents of the University of Wisconsin System and is the Wisconsin Public Radio affiliate for the St. Croix Valley of northwestern Wisconsin. 89.3 Channel 207, broadcasting in high definition, is one of the Twin Cities' most recognizable stations, and that's KCMP, Northfield, Minnesota. They're known as 89.3 The Current. On FM analog and HD1 is public radio / adult album alternative, with programming from NPR and Minnesota Public Radio. And then on its HD2 subchannel is local current, which is like alternative rock from Minnesota artists. KCMP is owned by Minnesota Public Radio, and their programming is simulcast on KMSE 88.7 FM in Rochester, KZCO 104.3 FM Two Harbors, KNSR 88.9 HD2 Collegeville, Minnesota. That's up in the St. Cloud area. KGAC 91.5 HD2 in St. Peter. And also, this station airs in Los Angeles on KPCC 89.3 HD2 in Pasadena, California. They operate 5 translator stations across Minnesota. K228AU 93.5 St. Peter, K237ET 95.3 New Ulm, KW248AS 97.5 FM Hinckley, K280EF 103.9 FM Austin, Minnesota, and K286AW 105.1 FM in Mankato. 89.5 Channel 208 has a pair of stations. The first is KBPG, Montevideo, Minnesota. They're known as Real Presence Radio. They broadcast the Catholic talk format with programming from EWTN Radio, and they are owned by Real Presence Radio. The other station on 89.5 is KFNK, Franklin, Minnesota. They're known as The Word, which is a Southern Gospel station owned by Minnesota Christian Broadcasters Incorporated. 89.7 Channel 209 is KPCS, Princeton, Minnesota. This is part of the Rejoice broadcast network known as Rejoice Radio. They operate a Christian radio format which is owned by Rejoice Broadcast Network's parent company, Pensacola Christian College Incorporated of Pensacola, Florida. 89.9 Channel 210, broadcasting in high definition, is KMOJ Minneapolis-St. Paul. This is another one of the Twin Cities' more recognizable stations. 89.9 KMOJ, the People Station. On FM analog and HD1 is community radio / urban contemporary / mainstream urban. HD2 is a hip-hop station known simply as The Ice. And then HD3 is the free-form eclectic simulcast of 88.1 KVSC out of St. Cloud. KMOJ is locally owned by the Center for Communication and Development. 90.1 Channel 211, broadcasting in high definition, is KSJR FM, Collegeville, Minnesota. This is Classical Minnesota Public Radio. FM analog and HD1 is, of course, public radio and classical music with programming from NPR, Minnesota Public Radio, and American Public Media. They're owned by Minnesota Public Radio, and they operate translator stations K215BL 90.9 FM Alexandria and K280ET 103.9 in Olivia. 90.3 Channel 212 has a pair of stations. The first broadcast in high definition, that's KFAI Minneapolis-St. Paul. They're known as Fresh Air Radio. FM analog and HD1 is public talk and music with no additional subchannels. They are owned by Fresh Air Incorporated and operates translator station K294 AM on 106.7 FM in West St. Paul. The other station is KMKL North Branch, Minnesota, which is part of the K-Love Radio Network, broadcasting a contemporary Christian music format owned by the Educational Media Foundation, also known as EMF. 91.1, I'm skipping ahead here. 90.9, channel 215, is KLLW Willmar, Minnesota, also part of the K-Love Radio Network, with a contemporary Christian music format from EMF. Now we can go to 91.1, channel 216. Broadcasting in high definition is KNOW-FM, St. Paul, Minneapolis. This station is known as Minnesota Public Radio News. On the main FM analog signal and its HD1 subchannel is the news talk format with programming from both NPR and Minnesota Public Radio. HD2 is Radio Heartland, which plays folk music. And then HD3 is the 24/7 news talk format known as the BBC World Service. KNOW-FM is owned by Minnesota Public Radio. 91.5, channel 218 is KCFB St. Cloud. This station's known as The Word, and they broadcast a Christian radio format. And I forgot to write the owner down of this station. I gotta dig back in my notes real quick. Find the other station that is known as The Word. I just read about it. Oh, it's on this final page. Okay, this station is owned by Minnesota Christian Broadcasters Incorporated. So this is a different station than KFNK. Sorry it took so long. I had to read through my notes again because I forgot to write down the owner of KCFB. This stuff happens sometimes. 91.7, channel 219 is WMCN, St. Paul, Minneapolis. McAllister College Radio. They broadcast a variety format, which is owned, of course, by McAllister College. And then the final station on the traditional non-commercial band is 91.9, channel 220, which is KBHZ, Willmar, Minnesota. Praise Live. Experience Jesus together. That's their slogan. This is a contemporary worship music station, which is owned by both Christian Heritage Broadcasting and North Central University. And this is the satellite station of KBHL 103.9 FM in Osage, Minnesota. Alright, that said, let's jump to the commercial band. Starting off with 92.5, channel 223, broadcasting in high definition, and one of the Twin Cities' top performing stations, and that's KQRS-FM, Golden Valley. They have two slogans. Their main slogan is Minnesota's classic rock. and their secondary branding is Classic Rock was made classic here. The station's branding is, of course, 92 KQRS. On FM and HD1 is Classic Rock. And then on HD2 is The Bear, which is a classic country station. KQRS FM is owned by Cumulus. And I gotta backtrack because I went out of space here. 92.1 channel 221 is WYRQ FM, Little Falls, Minnesota. They're known as Q92, Your Country. They broadcast a new country format with programming, or rather news updates from CNN. They're owned by the Little Falls Radio Corporation. 92.9 channel 225 not broadcasting in high definition, my mistake. They're just in standard analog. Anyway, this station is KKJM St. Joseph, Spirit 92.9. Always safe for the little ears. They broadcast a contemporary Christian music format, which is owned by Gabriel Communications. 93.5 channel 228 is KSCR FM Benson. 93.5 KSCR. Radio with Roots. This is a variety radio station with news updates from the Minnesota News Network. And this is also the Minnesota Vikings affiliate for Swift County, Minnesota. KSCR FM is owned by Headwaters Media, LLC. 93.7 channel 229, also broadcasting in high definition, is another one of the highest rated radio stations in the Twin Cities, and that's KXXR, Minneapolis-St. Paul. Known in the Twin Cities as 93X, Minnesota's rock station. FM analog and HD1 is Active Rock, and then on HD2 is The Machine, which is a top 40 CHR station. KXXR, much like their classic rock sisters KQRS, is owned by Cumulus. 93.9 channel 230 is KDMA FM, Granite Falls, Minnesota. They broadcast a country music format from Iowa City Broadcasting Company Incorporated. 94.1 channel 231 has a pair of stations. The first is KKL in Atwater, Minnesota. 94.1 The Loon, the rock station. They broadcast the mainstream rock format from Headwaters Media, LLC. The other station on 94.1 is KFML FM Little Falls, FM 94. They play a mix of hot adult contemporary, adult top 40 CHR, and active rock. And they are also owned by Little Falls Radio Corporation. 94.5 channel 233, broadcasting in high definition, is KSTP FM St. Paul, Minneapolis. They're known as KS95. Today's variety from 2K to today. On FM analog and HD1 is Hot Adult Contemporary. And then HD2 is the sports simulcast of sister station KSTP AM 1500. KSTP FM is owned by locally based Hubbard Broadcasting Incorporated, which is headquartered in St. Paul, Minnesota. 94.9 channel 235 is KMXK, Cold Spring, Minnesota. Mix 94.9, St. Cloud's Fresh Mix. This is a hot adult contemporary station from Town Square Media. 95.3, channel 237, has two stations on this frequency. The station that broadcasts to the immediate Twin Cities area is KZGO St. Paul, Minneapolis. Go 95.3, the modern hip hop channel. They broadcast a rhythmic top 40 format, which is owned by Go Media and licensed by Northern Lights Broadcasting, LLC. The second station on 95.3 airs to the central portion of the state, and that's KDJS-FM Willmar. K95.3, Hot Country. This is a country music station owned by Iowa City Broadcasting Incorporated. 95.9, channel 240, is WLKX-FM Forest Lake. They're known as the Big Q, the fun-loving oldies station. They broadcast an oldies format, which is owned by Lakes Broadcasting Company Incorporated. Programming is repeated on WQPM 1330 AM and on translator station W298CE 107.5 FM in Princeton, Minnesota. Programming is also repeated on KDDG 105.5 HD3 Albany and KLCI 106.1 HD3 Elk River. 96.3, channel 242, broadcasting in high definition, is KQGO Edina, Minnesota. Go 96.3, the modern alternative channel. On FM and HD1 is alternative rock. HD2 is Praise Live, which plays worship music. KQGO is owned by Go Media and licensed by Northern Lights Broadcasting, LLC. 96.7, channel 244, is KZRV, Sartell, Minnesota. 96.7, The River, Central Minnesota's greatest hits. This is a classic hits station from Town Square Media. 97.1, channel 246, broadcasting in high definition, is a very popular radio station in the Twin Cities. KTCZ-FM, Minneapolis-St. Paul. They are the world-famous Cities 97, uniquely Twin Cities. Their other slogan is Discover New Music. Cities 97 plays a mix of alternative rock and hot adult contemporary. Of course, the alternative rock is what makes this station world famous. On HD2 is Air 1, which is contemporary worship music. And then on HD3 is an urban contemporary station branded as Hot 102.5, relayed over translator station K273BH on 102.5 FM in Minneapolis. KTCZ-FM is owned by iHeartMedia, and they operate 3 additional translator stations. They operate W225AP 92.9 St. Paul, and they also operate K229ES on 92.1 and K249ED on 97.7, both of which are licensed to Albertville, Minnesota. All 3 of these translator stations relays Air 1's programming on the HD2 subchannel. 98.1, channel 251, is WWJO-FM St. Cloud. 98.1, Minnesota's New Country. This is a country music station from Town Square Media. 98.5, channel 253, broadcasting in high definition, is KTIS-FM, Minneapolis-St. Paul. 98.5 KTIS, always uplifting. FM and HD1 is contemporary Christian music. HD2 is the Christian Talk simulcast of sister station KTIS AM 900. HD3 is Legacy HD3, which broadcasts a classic contemporary Christian format. And then on HD4 is The Remnant. They air contemporary worship music. KTIS FM, much like their AM counterparts, is owned by the University of Northwestern at St. Paul. And let's see, they operate 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7 translator stations. They operate K214DF 90.7 Golden Valley, K224DB 92.7 Willmar, which broadcasts in HD, K232EK 94.3 FM Rochester, K235BH 94.9 FM Mankato, K270DZ 101.9 FM New Ulm, Minnesota, K277CC 103.3 FM Panat, Minnesota, and K299AL 107.7 FM Albert Lee, Minnesota. Now, the Golden Valley Translator at 90.7 is currently owned by the Educational Media Foundation. But the University of Northwestern at St. Paul operates the other 6. 98.9 Channel 255, broadcasting in high definition, is KZPK Paynesville. Wild Country 99. Central Minnesota's #1 for new or hot new country, I should say. On FM and HD1 is country music. HD2 is the news talk simulcast of KNSI AM. And then on HD3 is the classic rock station dubbed as Z-Rock 103.3, which is relayed over translator station K277BS at 103.3 FM in St. Cloud. KZPK is owned by Layton Broadcasting. Alright, this next station is also very recognizable. 99.5 Channel 258, broadcasting in high definition. That's KSJN Minneapolis-St. Paul. Classical Minnesota Public Radio. On the main FM analog and HD1 subchannel is classical music, programming from National Public Radio and Minnesota Public Radio. And then on HD2, that's also a classical music station known as Classical 24. KSJN is, of course, the flagship station of Minnesota Public Radio, which owns and operates 44 full power stations and 42 low power translators across the state of Minnesota, and they even have some stations in South Dakota. I think they have one in the UP of Michigan. I think they have some in Wisconsin also. They even have one out in Wyoming. That's how big this network is. 99.9 Channel 260 is KCML St. Joseph. 99.9 Light FM, the most music for your workday. This is an adult contemporary station from Layton Broadcasting. 100.1 Channel 261 is KOLV Olivia. Big Country 100.1. Big Stars, Big Songs. This is a country music station from Bold Radio Incorporated. 100.3 channel 262, broadcasting in high definition, is KFX and FM, Minneapolis-St. Paul. This station is known as 100.3 FM KFAN The Fan, the sports leader. FM analog and HD1 is, of course, sports. They are the Minneapolis-St. Paul affiliate of Fox Sports Radio. HD2 is the conservative talk simulcast of News Talk 1130 KTLK. And then HD3 is K-Love, which is contemporary Christian music. KFXN FM is the flagship radio home of the Minnesota Vikings, the Minnesota Wild, Minnesota Golden Gophers football, and they are also the co-flagship of Minnesota Golden Gophers men's basketball. So yeah, all the Vikings games, all the Minnesota Wild games, Golden Gophers football, and Golden Gophers men's hoops all play on The Fan, which is owned by iHeartMedia. And they operate translator station K260BA 99.9 FM in Coon Rapids, which relays the contemporary Christian music on HD3. 100.7 channel 264 is KIKV FM Salt Center, Minnesota. They're known as Kick FM 100.7, the country music power station. They broadcast the country music format from Hubbard Broadcasting, which is again based in St. Paul. So this, I think, is a St. Cloud station. 100.9 channel 265 is WCMP FM Pine City. Cool Country 100.9, which also broadcasts a country music format owned by Q Media Properties LLC. 101.3 channel 267, broadcasting in high definition, is KDWB-FM Richfield, Minnesota. 101.3 KDWB, the Twin Cities' #1 hit music station. On FM analog and HD1 is Top 40 CHR. HD2 is LGBTQ-oriented dance and EDM known as Pride Radio. And then on HD3 is a pretty cool station called Minnesota State Fair Radio, which broadcasts a variety hits format. KDWB is owned by iHeartMedia. 101.7 channel 269, broadcasting in high definition, is WHMH FM Sauk Rapids. This is up in the St. Cloud area. They're known as Rockin' 101, the rock station. Me and my radio voice again. FM analog and HD1 is Active Rock. HD2 is album-oriented rock, which is a simulcast of AM 540 WXYG. HD3 is alternative rock known as 106.5, relayed on translator station W293CS 106.5 FM, Sauk Rapids, Minnesota. And then on HD4 is the adult standards format, which is simulcast on WMIN AM. WHMH FM is owned by Tri-County Broadcasting. 102.1 channel 271, broadcasting in high definition. This is another one of the Twin Cities' highest rated stations. KEEY FM, St. Paul, Minneapolis. K102.1 FM, K102. #1 for new country and the best variety. FM HD1 is country music. HD2 is a contemporary Christian channel called Up. And then HD3 is The Breeze, which is soft adult contemporary. KEEY K102 is owned by iHeartMedia. 102.5, Channel 273 is KQIC Willmar. Q102, more music, more variety. This is a hot adult contemporary station from Lakeland Broadcasting Company. 102.9, Channel 275, broadcasting in high definition, is the station considered as K102's biggest rival, and that's KMNB Minneapolis-St. Paul. 102.9, The Wolf, the Twin Cities' new country leader. On FM analog and HD1 is country music. HD2 is the News Talk simulcast of News Talk 830 WCCO AM. And then on HD3 is the national feed of CBS Sports Radio. So, as I said earlier, WCCO airs CBS Sports Radio programming during the overnight hours. On 102.9 HD3, they broadcast the entire CBS Sports Radio schedule. KMNB is owned by Entercom. 103.7, Channel 279 is KLZZ, Waite Park, Minnesota. 103.7, The Loon, St. Cloud's classic rock station. This is a classic rocker from Town Square Media. 104.1, Channel 281, broadcasting in high definition, is KZJK, St. Louis Park, Minnesota. They're known as 104.1 Jack FM, playing what we want. FM HD1 is adult hits, and then HD2 is Light FM, which is an adult contemporary station. They're owned by Entercom. In fact, this I think is one of just 3 stations in the Twin Cities in which Entercom owns. Because they own WCCO and they own KMNB as well. Alright, 104.1. Oh, I did that station already. 104.7, Channel 284 is KCLD FM St. Cloud. 104.7 KCLD, Today's Hit Music. This is an adult top 40 station from Lakeland Broadcasting. 104.9, Channel 285 is WZEZ, Folsom Lake, Wisconsin. EZ 104.9, the Northwoods Relaxing Favorites. This is a soft AC station from Zoe Communications Incorporated. Alright, now we've come up on the first of the 2 FM trimulcast stations, meaning they are all one station, but they broadcast on 3 different frequencies. This is the first of them. 105.1, Channel 286, broadcasting in standard analog, is WGVX, Lakeville, Minnesota. Now this station airs to the southern portions of the Twin Cities radio market. 105.3, Channel 287, broadcasting in high definition, is WLUP, Cambridge, Minnesota. This airs to the northern half of the Twin Cities area. And then 105.7, Channel 289, broadcasting in standard analog, is WWWM FM, Eden Prairie, Minnesota. And this station is aimed at Minneapolis and St. Paul proper. These 3 stations together are known as Love 105, the music you love. On FM analog on all 3 stations and on WLUP HD1 is soft adult contemporary and oldies music. And they are the Twin Cities affiliate of the nationally syndicated Bob and Sherry Show, which airs 5 to 9 a.m. weekday mornings. WGVX, WLUP, and WWWM are all owned by Cumulus Media, the same company that owns classic rock station KQRS and active rocker KXXR. Now, WLUP, here's an interesting story for you. This was the call sign of the former 97.9 The Loop in Chicago until that station went off the air in 2017. Cumulus sold WLUP in Chicago to the Educational Media Foundation, and that station has since flipped to the K-Love Radio Network. So that's where the WLUP call sign comes from. It used to be housed on the legendary rock station in Chicago. Now it's housed as one of the 3 stations that makes up Love 105. Alright. 105.5 as a standalone station, and then the second one is a part of the other simulcast that we'll be talking about here shortly. 105.5 channel 288 is KMGM Montevideo, Minnesota. Classic Rock FM 105.5. They broadcast a classic rock format from Iowa City Broadcasting Company. That said, let's go to the second simulcast in the Twin Cities. All right. You've got 105.5 channel 288 broadcasting in high definition. That is KDDG Albany. This airs to the St. Cloud area. 106.1 channel 291 also broadcasting in high definition. That's KLCI Elk River, Minnesota. This aims to the immediate Minneapolis-St. Paul metro area. And then the third station, 107.5 channel 298, which broadcasts in standard analog, is KBGY Faribault, Minnesota. This airs to the extreme southern Twin Cities suburbs and portions of southern Minnesota, including the cities of Mankato and Rochester. These 3 stations are all known as Total Country Bob FM. Right. On the main FM analog signals on all 3 stations, as well as 105.5 and 106.1 HD1, is classic country. 105.5 HD2 is the news talk simulcast of KASM. 106.1 HD2 is a Southern gospel station known simply as Hope. And then the HD3 subchannels on both 105.5 and 106.1 is the oldie simulcast of WLKX FM 95.9. Alright, so KDDG 105.5 is owned by Starcom LLC. KLCI 106.1 is owned by Milestone Radio. And KBGY 107.5 is owned by Milestone Radio 2 LLC. Yeah, that's a lot. 105.7 channel 289 is WXCX, Siren, Wisconsin. This is one of, I think, 6 stations I found in the Twin Cities area that's licensed in the state of Wisconsin. Anyway, this station is known as Willie 93.5, 105.7 FM. They broadcast a classic country format from Zoe Communications Incorporated. 106.3, channel 292, is another radio station with a city of license in the state of Wisconsin, and that's WEVR FM River Falls. That puts it in the St. Croix Valley. They're known as 106.3 WEVR, your good neighbors in the Friendly Valley. They're talking about the St. Croix Valley again. This is a soft adult contemporary station owned by Henton Broadcasting Company. 106.5, channel 293, is KUOM FM, St. Louis Park, Minnesota. Radio K, Real College Radio. This again is a student-run college radio station from the University of Minnesota. This is the FM repeater of AM daytimer KUOM 770 Minneapolis-St. Paul. And programming is repeated on translator stations W264BR 100.7 in Falcon Heights, Minnesota, which airs to the northern St. Paul suburbs. And of course, Falcon Heights is where the station's transmitter is located. And also on K283BG 104.5 in Minneapolis, which covers both Minneapolis and St. Paul. Alright, there's a second station out of town on 106.5. That's KLFN Sunburg. They're known as 106.5 The Train. They broadcast a classic hits format from Lakeland Broadcasting Company. Alright, we are now down to the final three stations. 106.9, channel 295 is KARP FM, Dassel, Glencoe, Minnesota. Hot 106, reeling in the hits. This is a country music station from the Iowa City Broadcasting Company. Alright, you know how many talk radio stations are geared mainly towards men? Well, this next station goes against the grain. 107.1, channel 296, broadcasting in high definition, is KTMY, Coon Rapids, Minnesota. This station is known as My Talk 107.1, Everything Entertainment. This is a female-oriented celebrity talk station broadcasting on the main FM analog signal and on its HD1 subchannel. And they also have hourly news updates from ABC News. And then on HD2 is the Classic Hits Oldies simulcast of AM daytimer WDGY 740. So even though when 740 physically signs off the air at sundown, their programming continues on 107.1 HD2 and the 2 FM translator stations we talked about earlier. KTMY is locally owned by Hubbard Broadcasting, owners of both KSTP AM and FM, and ABC television station KSTP TV Channel 5. And get this, guys. KTMY's programming also broadcasts in the St. Louis area. It's repeated on Hubbard's sister station WARH FM 106.5 HD2, licensed to Granite City, Illinois, again part of the St. Louis radio market. And then the final station we'll be talking about is 107.9, channel 300, broadcasting in high definition, KQQL, Anoka, Minnesota. They're known as Cool 108, Minnesota's best variety of the 80s and 90s. On FM and HD1 is Classic Hits, so this pretty much puts them in competition with 104.1 Jack FM. HD2 is the newly launched African American oriented all news network known as the Black Information Network, branded locally as BIN 93.3, relayed over translator station W227BF 93.3 FM, licensed to Shoreview, Minnesota. Now, if you never heard of Shoreview, Minnesota, it's a suburb of St. Paul, and that's where most of the radio and television transmitters are located. And then on HD3 is sports, rated as KFAN+, which is affiliated with Fox Sports Radio just as its sister station 100.3 The Fan. KFAN Plus is relayed over translator station K244FE on 96.7 FM in the Minneapolis neighborhood of Calhoun Beach, Minnesota. KQQL is owned by iHeartMedia. So there it is. The AM and FM radio stations in the Minneapolis-St. Paul market, the 15th largest in the country according to Arbitron. Also including stations from nearby Cambridge, St. Cloud, and Willmar. Alright, I got another big market to talk about on our next installment. We're headed out west to Las Vegas. We'll take a look at all the AM and FM stations in and around Sin City, so be on the lookout for that. Again, like what you hear, like, comment, and subscribe. Hit the bell next time I go live, and I will holler at y'all later. Peace.